All right, folks, you can probably hear those beeps, and we're going to skip our ugly mug shots to get right into the game as we are loading into Classic versus ByuN.
Oh
yeah.
my God. I mean, you look at these players, and in every series has a twinner. But every single series also has the people watching as huge winners because you get to watch stuff like this. I mean, it's just not going to be like the grand finals of a super huge live event.
But tell me it wouldn't be, right? It's Classic and ByuN.
But that's what's so crazy about the way that StarCraft 2 is right now. I mean, people can, make, claims about, its BPMs as much as you want. But all I'm trying to say is you get to watch sick-ass stuff like this all the time. That sounds like a good place to be for me. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. Up at the top, left-hand side of the map, which is actually the right, because I have no idea. Okay, there's actually just nothing there. This is our red Terran player, ByuN.
And of course, his opponent. We'll see if he's just as cheesy or maybe he just hates the foreigners. It's the blue Protoss Classic.
Classic's gotta catch the subway home. Just kidding, he's already there.
I actually will say really quick, I think he'll be cheesy against ByuN. We've seen him do this pretty consistently versus Terran, and it is my opinion right now that it's the stronger, better way to play. It just feels like a lot of these games, you've got the best players, you've got Zest, you've got Classic, you've got everybody trying to make these Colossus builds work, and they do sometimes, but hardly reliable. And I think the cheese, not only does it decide the fate of the game much faster and you're not dying out slowly over 24 minutes, but it can also win the games, I think, at a higher success rate.
Definitely. This time around, though, we're not seeing ByuN go for any kind of cheese. So that means that he is going to be at least ready, prepared, and, will at least kind of know what's coming, know what's happening. He doesn't have to worry about that.
Have you seen ByuN's proxy spot on this map, by the way, with his barracks?
I don't believe so.
He puts it, right here. Right here, nestled into this little corner. And it's just barely out of scouting range if anything goes out to scout.
Oh my God.
It should be said, while we're expecting some cheesy stuff to maybe or maybe not come out of the Classic, ByuN has actually been the guy for the last 3 seasons that we've been casting him to proxy versus Protoss, to throw the barracks down in the corner of the map and follow it up with the factory. So it's nice to see that we don't have anything super strange coming out of him, but this now makes me wonder, is this because it's Classic and he's worried that Classic will be cheesing him and Protoss cheese is harder than Terran cheese, or if this is just, he's more comfortable playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, in our last game, it was like, well, who can proxy harder? It's like everybody gets proxies, but this time around, we actually get a chance to see, a little bit more of a standard game, and already some probe kills coming in here with this Reaper, and so it's, always nice to get in there and actually get some work done.
He's gonna get 4. He got 4 probes with a Reaper that wasn't proxied. That's impressive.
Unbelievable.
Well, here's why that's unbelievable, though. Because ByuN, for as much as I love and respect this guy, and he's one of my favorite players without a doubt, his greatest weakness has always been his Reaper control. There's no, his drops, flawless. Microing and macroing at the 20-minute marks, usually no mistakes. But it's the early game with his Reapers, and we've been casting more ByuN, I think, than anybody else out there. It's so clear that his Reapers are not one of his strong suits. So that was really impressive just now.
Yeah, even when you look at different Terran players, TY, Maru, Innovation, everybody kind of has their own trademarks. And for ByuN, he's actually just so smart, and his micro is usually super sick, which is why it's kind of weird that his Reapers are not necessarily the most effective, because you'd think hey, you got good micro, your Reaper's going to be great. Maybe not quite always the case, at least for ByuN. Now, 2 Adepts of the Watchtower will actually scout this dropship coming out. They will preemptively shade away, but at least Classic knows what's coming.
Well, even though he knows this is coming, he still goes through with the transfer, and looks like he's pretty content to try and kill some of ByuN's workers. A hidden Widow Mine behind the satellite dish picks off one of the Adepts already. Mothership Core is in position, though, and I don't know that ByuN's going to get a lot with this. Oh, that's bold. That's really bold. Trying to take it down the Mothership Core like that. The Phoenix has lifted, so unfortunately the Widow Mine's going to get picked off. Also, quick thank you to Harbinger SC2 for the 3-month resub. Tonight's been a little bit resub light, but I'm glad to have what little ones we can get, and you are certainly appreciated, sir. Thank you for that support.
Very nice. Nice to see some support out there for the sickest players. And, of course, tournament, BaseTradeTV StarLeague. It sounds like a lot to say. That's because there's a lot of goodness packed in. It's like this is like the granola bar of tournaments.
Yo, granola is legit amazing, so I'm not even gonna critique that. Like, I love granola.
I was just say, like, don't even sleep on granola bars, man. That's how I get through every morning. You guys might be coffee nerds out there. I am definitely a
those
granola
peanut
bar
butter granola bars, man. That's my jam.
I know. I think I know which ones you're talking about. See, I have to eat like the Korean version of that, which is just not quite on par. That's what I grew up with. My nostalgia's hit me really hard right now. I'm actually, like, super upset that I can't get the.
You gotta get someone to send you a care package, dude. Is there anyone in chat that we want to send like a whole 24 pack of Nature Valley bars over to Rapid Casting? Speak up. We need it. We need this stat.
BaseTradeTV sponsorship from Nature Valley. All right, Widowmine behind this shade of the Adepts
the tank,
up towards
the tank
front.
is so well set up for this. The Widowmine more than that'll catch units on the retreat maybe, but the tank guarantees these won't be able to push him further. Oh, the sickest triple kill! Oh, sorry, quadruple kill. Excuse me.
We call that a quadra kill where I come from.
Oh, get out of here, League of Legends.
Either way, that was beautiful placement on that Widowmine. I actually thought that was bad placement because it didn't hit the Adepts when they were forward. And I'm like, wait a second, that's why the tank's there. So smart.
Yeah, I actually liked it because it was meant to catch them on the retreat, which was cool, and that's exactly what they did. But yo, Rapid, I actually play a fair bit of League of Legends. Yeah. I'm going to ask you if you could guess what role, and if you're feeling really bold, what champion you think I play?
Support Sona.
Well, it was nice having you on the cast today, but it seems like the Skype call's breaking up, so... I'm
gonna start crinkling my wrapper in the microphone.
Anivia mid, motherfucker!
I don't know these things, man. We should actually got a PC bong and played while you were out here. But...
Anivia is an ice hero. She's quite excellent.
Oh my god. And now it is unfortunately, Rifkin's microphone that is
I actually spent like most of the early game missing last hits because I just typed puns in chat.
You're not the only one, so.
By the way, before I get too cool here, I'm like Gold League. I'm not even that good at the game. Whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to intimidate any like self-conscious ladder nerds out there. It's like I'm 2 points below my best friend and I can't handle it. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot more anxiety coming from this push than there is from that
mothership course gonna go down. No more overcharges available. It's a really bad thing, and I don't know why he went for that. He saw the maybe he was just trying to trigger the Widowmine. I don't know what that was about, but it was a huge mistake to give that away. Now ByuN just gets to run away with the Marines. They've got +1 on their side. Phoenixes are going to actually help push this back better than the Adepts will, but as soon as ByuN's joined by his reinforcements, combination Liberators and more Marines, he should be able to resume this push.
Oh yeah, those Liberators going to give him the opportunity to heal up that bio ball, get some more reinforcements here, and the landed Viking pushing forward. This is going to be difficult to hold on against. There are a sizable amount of Phoenix, so
he's still
able to get those in there for flank, he can take out those Liberators, but he will definitely need to.
Classic's army is really weird, actually, considering it's all Adepts on the ground, but then he's still making Phoenix in the air. He wraps around, he kills the Liberators, and this kind of works. The Widowmine's going to burrow a little bit too late. Quick on that pickup. Nice Graviton beams out of Classic.
Widowmines, though, those are what is really the deterrent from Classic just rolling over this ByuN army. ByuN's army might look pretty small, but he's using all of this to get his third base set up in the meantime without having to worry about that. So this army pretty dead.
Oh, no. That was a little bit risky flying the Phoenix in like that, but looks like that'll work out. ByuN's army gets crushed. Oh, jeez.
I think ByuN might actually just die at the end here. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about the siege tanks and the position they're in, and I'm like, oh wait, he actually just has them.
I really got to bring this up though. David Kim, if you're watching this, I swear to God, if you're really thinking about nerfing Widowmines, explain to me how you think this composition will ever be dealt with, please. I'm all ears.
At some point, it's more about the player than the unit, because the Classic is pretty badass, whether he's proxying you straight up, or whether he's playing just straight up. I mean, this is just not going to go well for ByuN. He just has nothing to defend with.
I actually think it's really important to note that, like, while I do want to make jokes about balance, and I'm not at all serious, Classic's handling of this has been so good because he has been scooping up those Widow Mines. Regardless of whether Widow Mines are good or not, guys, the fact is none of them have been getting shots because these Phoenix have been very quick to the draw, Graviton Beam, lifting them up and removing them from the fight before they even get involved.
Yeah, you know, he's been on top of the micro, because it's not just about, you know, like you know, me orc, me macro, build big army. No, you got to control it really well. Gotta, you know, have the lifts on the Widow Mines, have to engage correctly.
That's really good. That was a really great Guru impression you did just now.
Or a really great like silver to gold league Terran player where I'm just like, well, I could just build lots of stuff and then move across the map. Maybe it's more Protoss style, but either way, I don't want to be too generalistic. All I'm trying to say is that you got to have the finesse when it counts. So it's nice to see paying off dividends here for Classic, like really good stocks.
Well, normally I would be very happy to see ByuN with a lot of Marines, and I will say without a third base and with his limited economy the way it is, I'm impressed that his army's even close to keeping up with Classic. And he does have the 1-1. Like, he's got leads in small ways, but I still don't think he can actually take on a proper fight.
This is like that Nathanius style defense where you just put like the most Widow Mines in a choke point and just really hope that your opponent just like shades in on top of them and everything blows up. I think Nathanius would not have bio; he'd have more tanks in the back. But you know, it's a
and
it's still a
cruisers,
relevant analogy. He's gonna clear the observer too. So I mean, Classic does still have to be careful. This
is an important, I almost feel like doubling down effect though, because 4 or so Widow Mines hasn't been working. You need more. Like, on the assumption being that Classic's going to pick up a lot of these Widow Mines, ByuN will need more behind them. I'm really worried though, because Liberators at this point, it's questionable at best. They're going to die to the Phoenix, no doubt about that. But if they can protect the Widow Mines or the army long enough and the Liberators still go down, but they've cleared out, say, the Archons beforehand, the Immortal gets target fired, then job well done.
All right, well, Classic poking up here should actually be able to take out this turret at the front. Widow Mine will get a shot off and take out a Stalker, bruise some of those Adepts, but here comes the biggest shade right in. Not going to complete, most likely.
You saw the Widow Mines. That would have been suicidal.
Well, I was going to say, like, that's that point where, yeah, you kind of think to yourself, the French word for this is le pied de vide or something. It's like the call of the void, where you have that idea. It's like, well, what if I just completed that shade? Would that actually be so bad? It's like, yeah, well, yeah, that would actually be the worst. But you'd get front page of Reddit, so you got to balance those two.
Well, as he continues to stutter away from the army, Classics contemplating that shade, but cancels once again. It blows me away that for so long ByuN was denied this third while Classic happily got to a fourth, but ByuN's macro has just been so impressive. His trading's not been bad. Look at those resources lost, and of course these Widow Mines still burrowing.
Okay, well, the Widow Mines are there, but great job picking up those Liberators. They were a little bit too far forward and allowed Classic to engage the Liberators, but not have to deal with the Widow Mines that were towards the back of the fight. And it's not like Classic just doesn't know that they're there. Here comes the big fight.
God,
Widow Mines will burrow, but they'll all get lifted.
That was a huge denial to Classic. ByuN, I will actually argue that his army not just was hoping, but relying on those Widow Mines getting some shots off. But the fact that the Phoenix has dived in and the control to pick up every single one of them out of Classic, so damn impressive.
Well, that's the thing, is like Widow Mines are not like, I feel like Widow Mines punish players who are like either not paying attention or it's like not skilled enough with their micro to avoid. Yeah, complacent. Perfect word there. Nothing I love more than good vocabulary. Almost nothing I love more than good vocabulare.
What about a good vernacular?
Oh, you're so loquacious, Rifkin. Oh my god.
Shut the
Nothing like having a nice erudite conversation.
Actually, erudite's the name of my WoW guild, funny enough. So that's a little bit, that's a word I know.
Big fan. All right, either way, yeah, but if you're like a super smart player, you're just like, oh, well, there's a Widow Mine there. That's bad, right? Okay, so I'm just like not gonna go on top of that. Widow Mines are bad.
That impression was great though, so don't worry about that. Guardian shields up, reducing a lot of damage from the bio. Unfortunately though, I think the Archons and the Immortals are a little bit much. I love this out of Classic, though. I spoke on it before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think Colossus are the way to play this game right now versus Terran. And right now, even though he's not exactly 8-moving and crunching ByuN to death or anything like that, consider ByuN was trying to lift his main off. He had to wait so long to get this third. And while Macro was keeping up for long enough, and trades were even, look at the resources lost. Not even that different. ByuN's still massively behind.
+2/+2 about to finish here for the Protoss, and indeed they will, so this is definitely going to go in Classic's favor if we can find this engaged. But ByuN, man, just really living up to the name there of those Marauders, going forward, getting a couple of shots off, pulling back over and over again, but there might just be too much Protoss here for him to keep, you know, microing his way to victory.
ByuN, the Ghost King, just barely didn't have enough energy for those EMPs. He gets some off now, and EMP takes away a lot of damage from this. There's all those shields gone, a lot of them missing, but the fact is, the Immortals still have their barriers. A lot of these Archons didn't get touched by the EMPs. And while the Adepts are cheap and disposable units, ByuN's not touching the core of the army.
Well, he is going to complete this shade here. It will go down. At this point, it is do or die. Not in ByuN's case,
I think
it's
it's
just
die.
gonna be do and die.
Yeah,
he is gonna
GG.
GG.
Classic. That was fantastic.
I mean, this is where you take that product like Dr. Pepper and you're like, well, I want to revamp this. I want to make it seem like it's something new when it's actually just the old thing. You call it classic Dr. Pepper. Well, it's just as good. So, gotta say, even like classic, like kind of as like the third or fourth string Protoss oftentimes gets overshadowed when you're talking about, you know, best Protoss players, guys like, you know, Zest, guys like Stats always kind of get mentioned up there at the top, but gotta say he's still looking super good. And against a guy like ByuN, who, credit to ByuN, hung in there after losing such a big force early on, just wouldn't die. Classic had the execution enough, good enough to have that one stick engage where he like picked up all the Widow Mines, so pretty cool to see that work out so well for Classic.
All right, well, let's get these invites rolling. Mention you real quick and get the players.
Got it.
This is really cool though because, like, let's assume I don't want to take this too extreme, but for a brief moment we imagine Classic beats ByuN here. We've had so much TvT in Korea, whether it's the Alima League, the BTSL, the 10 Korean qualifiers. It just Terran has shown a lot of dominance, and it's cool to see Protoss making something happen, especially at a time when people are super quoting low Protoss win rates.
Yeah, so it's not just about, you know, like, hey, you know, Protoss can't beat Terran or whatever. It's actually just like, well, you just have, and when people quote those things, I always like to look at the Terran players they're talking about, and it's like, oh, well, these are actually just like the best 3 Terran players in the world. Like, well, yeah, Protoss are actually just not going to have a lot of success there, not because of the race, but because they're actually just so good. But I mean, this is what it looks like when you have a super good Protoss player and really know how to deal with these situations.
So before these intros, there's a clip of you on Reddit, and I want to see what this clip is. One sec.
Oh my god!
This is
like.
Oh, it's you showing off your mic. Okay, I don't need to watch that. I know it is. The Guitar Hero. Amazing, this mic. I cannot begin to tell you guys how legit cool it actually is that he's casting with that. But we are getting into game number 2. This is the semifinals. Don't giggle. Look at me giggle. This is the semifinals for the BTSL. And I will say really quick that this $100 weekly cup does not have a 3rd and 4th place prize like the Corsair Cup does. This is 1st and 2nd place only. However, there are points in prizes, excuse me, that these guys are still fighting for to have a chance to be invited back to next week's $400 monthly finals. That's right, at the conclusion of this tournament, we'll know which 8 players have qualified through the point system to attend the really big finals. But getting into this game, top side of the map, he's up 1-0. It's Classic.
Dun, dun, dun. And down on the bottom side, I don't have to say right or left, but this is the blue Terran player, ByuN.
Who, by the way, is doing a command center first. And ByuN has the CC first build that involves going 3 racks immediately after. And what I really like about this build is like, okay, it's a little bit gasless. You're kind of like, okay, nobody's rushing out to a starport. But this gives ByuN, like if he does the extra 2 barracks, this gives ByuN so many units to fight with. So many extra Marines early on. He'll push with that 1 Marauder and usually the stim timing. And it just tends to overwhelm most of his Protoss opponents. And it looks like that's the direction he's going with this. I think this is such a fantastic move in response to what is potentially either Cheese or Phoenix. Because as we saw last game, Phoenix, well, kind of inexpensive units, they do this great element where they can remove one thing from the fight. Pick up a Widowmine, pick up a Marauder. You can just crowd control a Terran army. But if you've got like 50 extra units, it doesn't matter what's been crowd controlled.
Yeah, you really have to keep an eye on exactly what you're dealing with, because if you're seeing, hey, this is very Widowmine heavy, Phoenix infinitely more mobile than a Widowmine. I mean, that's the big limitation to a Widowmine. It's just you have to burrow it. So Phoenix deal perfectly with that. But if the Terran player realizes, hey, this guy's massing Phoenix, you just literally build Marines. It's like, well, I mean, you can lift those, but you gotta have a lot of Phoenix to take care of that. So I gotta say, really impressed by ByuN's tenaciousness in game one, but definitely banked a little bit too hard on those Widowmines, which Classic just dealt with so impeccably. So here come those 3 racks like you were talking about. Great call on the build, Rifkin. We're gonna be seeing a lot of bio here from ByuN, and it'll be interesting to see what style he wants to take to really remedy the weaknesses that he had in the first game.
I like this I like this comment in chat. What would our Archon name be, Rapid?
Our Archon, Rapidifkin.
Well, so there's that one, and it makes me think like it's like Rapkin, and I'm like trying to like formulate something like.
Isn't that the name of the owls in Final Fantasy?
I don't actually know.
Oh, those are boomkins. My bad. What else am I thinking about? Let's see. Rifkinap. No, there's actually just like, I mean, I feel like Tastos is just like, you know, 2 people on opposite sides of the world. They're just like, hey, let's just make names that like perfectly fit with each other. And then like there are a couple of other good, you know, combo names out there. I don't know. Unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't work out. I'm sorry, Rifkin.
Well, I'm actually thinking of a rap for you now. This is formulating. The gears are spinning. Rapid casting has some interesting rhymes.
Oh my god, get me out of here.
His name is Rapid Casting, broadcasting and contrasting. Calls always for casting. Oh, I took the earpods out of his ears, guys.
I did. I was like, no. I can't deal with this right now.
I was proud, man. I had something good coming. Whatever. You lose. Your missed opportunity. Whatever. You could have had a theme song, bro.
Okay, well, I think we're all happy that didn't happen. So here comes in the Warp Prism. Something I'm also not too happy about existing, but the 4 Adepts now in the main, able to really put down the Harassment, take a lot of ByuN's attention away. You have to be careful with it.
This is a big problem, not for ByuN, but for Classic, because in this instance, it's not about killing 3 SCVs. ByuN doesn't care about his SCVs in that regard. He's going for a lot of bio. But I do want to point out, lots of focus on ByuN's side of the map has taken away from something really cool that Classic's doing, and he's gone for Disruptors. Now, I don't care about Disruptor drops. You get the Warp Prism speed, you got all these things that Terran can sometimes get harassed by, sure. My concern, and what I'm going to think is really cool, is ByuN did get a really quick stim with this, so he should be able to split, and he should be able to deal with said Disruptors. And if Classic loses this early on, then he's going to have no way to stop the momentum of this massive amount of units. But if he drops into the base, and he hits 4 Marines, and then he hits 6 Marines, ByuN's opening gets kind of nullified, because all of this is supposed to give him a lot of units to push with.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of what happened in game number 1 is that, you know, after losing that initial force, the momentum was just like so in Classic's favor, even though ByuN was, you know, very masterful at, you know, defending, it just was never enough, and he kind of got, you know, washed over. But here we go. He's
got to be aware of this, though. The problem is no Terran player, you can't, oh, the splits are actually not bad. But like I said, you get like 4 kills here, 6 kills there. That's where this shines through. Oh, it's so annoying. But ByuN has done something really interesting to kind of, I guess, counteract the counteraction here, and he's moving across the map with another chunk of Marines. Those Disruptors can only be in one place at a time. But wow, that Warp Prism is so fast!
It really is. Warp Prism speed so essential to this build, and he actually realizes, hey, I've got enough to defend back at home.
Oh, he doesn't... This is actually, he's chasing. It's like a wild goose chase. He's missing out on those double drops on the other side of the map while he hunts down these Marines.
Then he will be able to just deal with these no problems, even a few Zealots mixed in here, which should be able to, you know, at least limit that. I don't think they have charge. I did not keep my production tab open long enough. But either way, just chasing these Marines back, completely ineffective. And ByuN, while he will buy time, will be able to continue his macro off the back of this.
It's more than buying time, though. This is like +1, so he pops off the mothership core at home. That Disruptor's on cooldown. He's going to focus fire that down next. Disruptor dies. Warpins don't stand a chance. Zealot's dead on arrival, and he's picking off the Stalkers.
Wow, okay. ByuN just always... ByuN, much like Life the Concept, finds a way. And, wow, able to really get a decent amount of harassment and damage done. But now he's also got to worry about, oh, wait, not dying.
Yeah, Disruptor shots can go through force fields too, for those who don't know, so he's got to be a little bit careful about this. They'll end up using 2 on the wall. ByuN now has a bit of opportunity to try and pick off while they're on cooldown, but Widow Mines go down pretty quickly. Bunker's still not done just yet. He's doing a great job holding for the time being, and oh, you can see he really wants to go down that ramp, but he knows force fields are too dangerous, so he doesn't want to get cut off.
Yeah, Disruptor's now all off cooldown, and while he will be able to see the bunker up there towards the top, here come even more Disruptor shots up the ramp, just putting so much damage in on this wall. It's going to go down, and along with it, more Disruptor shots able to take out the Widow Mines at the top.
That being said, though, ByuN has thinned the herd of the army behind this, and while Disruptors are certainly alarming and scary, they're not going to be killing a base anytime soon. Liberator setting up over the ramp guarantees nothing here gets too far in either. So ByuN's defense has been pretty solid, and that +1 weapons is paying off huge. He's got a 3rd command center on the way and more production. I don't think he's too scared right now.
Wow. Yeah, especially at this point, ByuN has got an entrenched position where he can, chill out in for a while, but this Warp Prism dropping the Disruptors off towards the top will be able to at least put that bunker down in the red.
This one SCV has been like, he's got to be having anxiety attacks. He's been running around repairing the barracks, the reactor, the bunker, and he's doing this all in the heat of battle. But ByuN's, this is a bit of a bluff. He's hoping that Classic isn't willing to jump up to the base. He doesn't know whether Blink's done or not, but he's hoping that the army won't be revealed that it's missing because 3 medevacs just picked up most of ByuN's army to go for a counterattack.
They are heading on across the map, and back at home, man, you got a lot to worry about. The entirety of Classic's force here knocking at this door. A few of those Widow Mines will actually go out, but that's just going to get taken out there by the Disruptors.
They get pushed into the Liberator. The Liberator killed one of the Disruptors. Second one goes down. Focus fire down that last Disruptor. ByuN is held at home, and that counterattack is going to kill Classic. GG.
A Classic? What the? I mean, that's what it's like watching that train wreck happen. It's just like you just walk all of your Disruptors under a Liberator. I mean, okay. I mean, Classic was in a lot of trouble. That triple drop that ByuN had coming his way in the base was pretty scary. So maybe that would have still won ByuN the game. But I mean, moving all your entire army under Liberators is also a pretty good way to get that done.
Well, another part of this too is it was you gotta consider ByuN had that defense with like 3/4 of his army missing. Like he had picked it up to go across the map. Really impressive, but also mistakes out of Classic. So combination of the two nets ByuN that 1-1. Now we're gonna wait for Classic to pick the map. He hasn't picked it yet, so a small commercial break of 2 minutes, and we'll see you guys with more of the BTSL semifinals when we return. All right, folks, welcome back to game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1, but we got to take a peek at the other side of the bracket while this was going on. And Stats is waiting to face off against Root Gaming's Hero. So we're actually gonna cast 2 different types of heroes during the cast today. But
yeah, so there's a lot of heroic stuff going on out there, but none more heroic, Rifkin, than the 2 players facing off against each other right now.
Yeah, kicking it off in the top left, it is going to be the light blue Protoss Classic.
Where I come from, we like to call that teal. Everybody likes to call this color red, because this is ByuN, down on the lower right-hand side of the map. And coming into this game, at least, I feel like both players have had time to kind of feel each other out. We've had a lot of like sort of super cheesy cheesiness, but with as big as this map is, I don't think that's what we're going to have this time around.
I'm going to just call you out on the teal call for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it's entirely incorrect. But this is definitely closer to Seafoam, if anything.
I feel like Seafoam is, if not a little bit more, a little bit greener, more.
You know what? I'm going to hit up the Google on this one.
I'm actually just going to print screen this so that I can get a dropper out and see exactly what the RGB components.
Here's teal, guys. Here's what teal looks like, evidently. And then where's Seafoam over here? We'll get this color up. So you guys can be the decision maker. Is this closer to Teal? Type 1 in chat. Or is this closer to Seafoam? Type 2 in chat. This is the most irrelevant discussion we could ever have, but this is important because it's me versus him.
This is important.
I do want to point out, by the way, ByuN has done same build. So it worked in game 2. He's relying it to work on game 3. And I really like what Classic did. I thought bringing out the Disruptor was a fantastic move. I think if I had to guess, when he had lifted everything to the base after ByuN had left with those 3 medevacs, he probably saw a lot of the army was missing and knew a drop was coming his way and felt pressure to get into the base then and there. And that's probably why we saw the Derpy move up the ramp. I can't imagine another reason he would feel so panicked to force himself into such a bad engagement.
Yeah, that's actually good to think about, because it's easy to say, oh, this player did a bad thing. But you have to think, because these are, very intelligent people who are very good at this game, why is that a thing that happened? It's like, well, maybe a little bit panicked. It's like, okay, I got to get something done because I know there's this huge drop coming in that's going to kill me, so I have to kill this other guy first. Well, unfortunately, Liberators are pretty good at stopping decision-making processes like that, and so ByuN evens up the series and brings us here to this final deciding game number 3.
Yeah, real quick to get some catch up since there'll be a bit of a slower opening. Although DTs might shake things up. They get a Vagrant Story, Canadian brother from another mother. 11 months on that resub. Harbinger SC2 we shout out earlier. Then Kendall Roney for the 4 months with Twitch Prime. That's a lot of Twitch Prime. Thank you so very much. Lemons TV hit us up for 12 months, and that's 1 year, so you can get a Partoof. Send us a message on the channel. We'll give you a form to fill out, and you'll get a real-life metallic Partoof. This is 4 286 days ago, because 2016 was a leap year. I brought forth on BaseTradeTV a new subscription conceived in dank memes and dad jokes and dedicated to the proposition that all other esports are second to StarCraft. That is a great anniversary message. And then last but not least, SC Pressure reached out back-to-back 2 months. Thank you very much, sir.
Sick donations going on today, man. Big fan of all the people out there to support not only the channel, but of course 50% me. So
I know you gotta tab out, by the way. Look at the ones in the 2s. It looks like chat can't tell either. Are all of you colorblind? It's not just that nobody's winning. This is like 50-50 on 1s and 2s. This is amazing how terribly blind everybody is. But on that note, speaking of things that are colored either seafoam or teal, we have DTs getting into the base. ByuN does have scans ready, but those turrets aren't done just yet.
No, they are not. So one scan will clear out one of the DTs, but there's still another one running around, and of course, third one taking out that add-on on the barracks at the ramp. Just have to be careful there because there is at least one turret completed, but one scan, but that DT will run away successfully.
Yeah. Chat is right. You know what? We were both wrong. I forgot that the color of Classic is it's gold and black is what it is.
It's black and gold.
It's blue and black, gold and white. Whatever the combination is. Guys.
Sickest memes. Oh my god.
Dank memes, dude. All right, so Classic only has one DT left, and this is really annoying for ByuN because he doesn't want to have to burn a scan on it, but this has actually supply blocked him.
That's that response. See, like you ever have this argument, and you go to sleep and you wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and you're like, I should have said this one witty thing
right,
which would have made you the coolest person. That's that response. It's just somebody else that is smart enough to be able to think of it right now.
Welcome to living on a 3-minute delay.
Big fan. I was gonna say that, but 3-minute delays, so I'm just a little bit late.
All right,
Either way, Dark Templar's mildly successful.
It's so. I'm wondering about this though. This has certainly caused a lot of chaos for ByuN. And at a glance, you're like, wow, that's a lot of damage. Oh, beautiful pick off of that War Prism. Gets the DT inside of it. But I was just going to say, this didn't hamper ByuN's army. We actually look at what was lost through this, and it was only 3 Marines for 5 DTs. This was not only just objectively a bad trade for Classic, but for what ByuN's build was. Look at him. He's ready to go for a push soon. Combat Shields is done any moment. 2 medevacs will be flying out to meet with this. And you'll notice he's not muling right now. He's going to want to keep all that energy for scans and shut down the defensive DTs.
Wow. Yeah. So DTs are great at defending because it does mean that you have to, keep an eye on all of that. They're easy to, just catch you out if you don't have vision in one particular place. Well, you just lose whatever is there. So the other good thing that you can use DTs for, as is being warped in right now, is to counter harass at the base and maybe force a little bit more attention back there instead of on the army. But here comes the army pushing up, and at least for me, if I'm going to channel my inner Dustin Browder, it's always nice to kind of damage those rocks, just so that you can't be threatened by anything pushing through there. Because I don't know if you've ever had this happen in games that you've cast, but watching rocks fall in an army is my guilty pleasure. So would have loved to see that happen. That's not what's going to be the case. Either way, Classic does at least have a decent force to defend.
Yeah, the rock mechanic's always cool, but I feel it happens so rarely nowadays. You get that odd game where like Haas will force field somebody into it, but that's like big tournament plays, not usually like something that's like commonality.
All I'm trying to say is that when I see the potential for sick plays like that, I'm just like, well, okay, now I'm just a little disappointed because it didn't happen. Either way, DT coming in, immediately scanned and picked off, so great reaction there by ByuN. Just not going to have that as something to worry about. Big shade forward, though, means the Classic is going to go for this, or not. Yes, he is. Oh, wow, complete that shade.
ByuN, I mean, +1 weapons is a pretty big deal. I think he's trying to wait out the Guardian Shield. I mean, as we can see, look at the difference in damage. Guardian Shield felt like he was tickling Classic. No Guardian Shield, and he's dominating the units. The Widow Mines are a little too far back. I don't know if Classic sees that with the Observer. Like, obviously he can detect it, but did he see those down? Well, as you see him now, he's just kind of blatant and left alone now. So
I was gonna say, well, yeah, Rifkin, I'm pretty sure he just saw those. So at least he knows what he's going up against at this point. And I mean, Classic didn't seem to have any problems dealing with Widow Mines in game number 1, so able to just completely take them out here. But we'll have to watch out for his observers. Getting them scanned and picked off one by one
rapid
means that the count will be a little lower.
What's your opinion? What do you think about the Stalker skins?
I'm a pretty big fan of Stalker skins. I mean, they look a little bit more like flowery or whatever, but it's not gonna matter when they all die to bio.
Well, actually, the Time Warp's pretty nice to keep ByuN from stutter stepping the way he wants to, but the Widow Mines get some really nice hits on the Adepts, catching them just before and after the transfer. Liberator sets up 2, and the Stalker count's fallen a little too low. Dealing with this will not be easy.
Yeah, primarily Adepts and even Immortals do not shoot up as oh wait, this is just like terrible. Oh wow, that's a money Liberator.
Oh, the Widow
right
Mine!
There.
Okay, so I was gonna say, you ever watch the Food Network or anything? Like, do you know who Guy Fieri is?
I do.
Tell me these stalkers don't look. They got his dumb little sunglasses. If you zoom in, they got his dumb, stupid sunglasses. They've got the stupid frosted tips for hair. These are Guy Fieri stalkers, man.
I would never have made that connection if you hadn't told me. But those do look. Look at
the little triangle sunglasses. Like, it's so.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm seeing it now, Rifkin. That's pretty legit.
All right, well, Draenors, Diamonds, and Dark Shrines aside, the army from Classic with the Immortals, I think is actually really good. The problem is numbers for ByuN aren't actually running over with this the way his build was supposed to.
Well, it feels like the bio ball is just like not on par with where it should be. There's also not this stream of reinforcements heading out across the map. I mean, it's just now starting to filter out there, but it will be a long time and don't get reinforced. That means this defending advantage is always going to be with the Protoss. And I mean, ByuN's doing a good job kind of keeping it pressured
like,
in
please
space.
Please transfer this on me. The Widow Mines are primed and ready. They get most of the Adepts. A couple of them get picked off, but he picks up to fly away and meet up with the rest of his army rather than sacrificing what he had on the front line. I will say, though, I'm so impressed with Classic, though. Look at that army supply. He's actually keeping up.
Well, his macro is just actually insane. This is what it feels to really get a chance to watch like an insane macro Protoss. I mean, you look at different Protoss players, they all have, what they're good at. So you got like Neve, known for disruptors. You got guys like Zest, and Zest, I guess, mostly well known for like army positioning and like cool moves and stuff, and just like being the buffest StarCraft player ever to exist. Well, I think Losira might have something to say about that.
Violet
Either
might
way,
too. Give him time. Violet might be able to buff them both, dude. Give him time.
Dude, I don't know if like Losira's voice could lift more than I weigh. Like, let's just to put that out there. Either way, gonna keep an eye on this. Well, either way, watching Classic is is like watching I don't know the Mona Lisa of macro. It's pretty sick to see exactly just how much stuff he can make. And now he's sitting out here looking to shade in. Now this is not a great place to go for, but he might just complete it. He's
Widow
trying to split these
Mines.
depth shades, and he is gonna go for it, immediately targeting as many Widow Mines as he can. He takes off a few, but a couple of great shots hitting on Classic's army.
Liberator's also doing a great job of picking off most of some of the back lines. Keep in mind, guys, Classic came into this fight with a massive supply lead. ByuN now kind of whittles that down, and it's a lot closer than it was. Classic at the same time, too, I showed this on camera, we didn't really talk about it, takes kind of a hidden fourth base up in that top right while this goes on.
Yeah, so even if his army gets taken out here, he's going to have so much to macro off the back of this that I think he'll actually be pretty okay. Now, it doesn't look like he's going to make any sort of like over-aggressive moves like kind of the end of that last game where he actually just loses all of his army, but with ByuN actually pulling all those SCVs off the line, you could tell he's really feeling the pressure.
Yeah, and the armory went down, by the way, so that's going to really suck. The +2 has already been started, so that's good, but there won't be a +3 anytime soon.
Certainly not. And with these Liberators forcing Classic back and back a little bit by little bit, I think ByuN actually should be able to hold on here. He does still have to worry about the income because he is pretty much just mining off of one base at this point.
I like the blink fierties in chat, is what people are saying. Okay, well, regardless of what you want to classify these frosted tips, I am worried because ByuN's army has been constantly split in half. If he can consolidate all of this, get that concave, pincer in from both sides, I think ByuN actually takes a better fight. But he's been struggling to get that to happen. Classic with these force fields does choke off the main base. Some DTs are in play, but he scans for them immediately, so those get taken out. And here we go, Classic's army falling apart. Like I said, if ByuN could just collect all of his forces, this army dies. Goes from like 90 supply to 50 or less. The Warp Prism goes down. Immortals dying as everything retreats and runs for their lives.
Holy cow, and all of a sudden ByuN doubling Classic and army. Sure, he's got the macro, but he's going to have to actually build units with those mineral and gas to be able to defend this upcoming push. Now, he's going to be able to get some warp-ins at home, and of course, always have to watch out for Dark Templars being warped into your base from behind.
One of the really big things before this, though, right? Like, Classic had, past tense, built up a really nice Immortal army. He's not on 2 Robo production. He can't replace those units. And the Robos were shredding the Marauders. Or sorry, excuse me, the Immortals were shredding the Marauders. But the point is, like, there's going to be one Immortal. It's not going to do jack squat.
Yeah, now blinking forward just to try to take out a few of these Liberators. Does pick off one and is able to force field. But here come those rocks. They are down, and that means this one Immortal put forward. You need a little bit more than that. And Classic's army just not up to snuff. He's down about 50 supply even still.
I mean, consider as well, that 2-2 for ByuN means all of his bio is hitting a lot harder than it was before even. The one concern, though, is ByuN actually, through all of this, his medevacs are really dry. He's had to heal so much with this, but I guess he scouted the base. Classic's already pulled the probes away from this. ByuN's going to absolutely knock down this Nexus. And the middle of the map fight still might go in the favor of ByuN, thanks to the Liberators. In fact, it will. All the Stalkers are gone.
Oh, man, yeah, and that's just going to do it. No more Stalkers means ByuN will liberate himself from this series with a 2-1 score. I mean, Classic just looked so dominant in that first game. I was a little bit worried, but ByuN is able to bring it back and take the win.
He'll move on to the finals as well. Now we have another series, and I'm so glad this worked out. Rapid, we have cast almost 100% of these games being PvTs today. We're going to have our first PvP, but then that will set us back to a guaranteed PvT finals.
I mean, I'm not complaining at all. Now, we haven't got a chance to watch any Zergs today, so if you guys are Zerg players out there, then, you know, apologies for not representing that one equally, but I don't think I've been able to find anything to complain about. The games have all been super sick.
I'm actually kind of okay with not having seen Zerg, but that's because in the European stuff we do, it's all Zerg.
Okay, so finally, Protoss and Terran players have their time to shine, and there've been some pretty shining performances here. So nice sparkling, but ByuN's going to make it all the way to the finals, and we'll find out which Protoss player will advance to face him there.
Yeah, and we're going to get the lobby up. We're going to take a break here in a moment. But before we do, someone in chat brought up a good point. I'd like to remind you all about how Twitch Prime works, because it is such a huge benefit for us as the broadcaster, but for you as the viewer to get free benefits. If you use Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. If you don't know about that, go to twitchprime.com and they'll show you how to link up the two accounts. It won't cost you anything, but you get cool things. Each month they give you very exclusive in-game like Twitch skins for different games. They'll give you some CD keys like for actual games. Although I guess they're game keys now. I'm so old. I just called that a CD key. Kill me. But the big thing is you can sub to a channel for free. And some of you already do this, and that's awesome. But for those who do this, you should be aware that that sub is a 1 month only thing. However, you get a free one every new month. So you will not have it auto-renew. You'll have to manually reapply it. And the really frustrating thing is Twitch doesn't actually send you a notification saying, hey, by the way, you can sub again. So if you guys are considering using Twitch Prime to sub, I tell you what, I appreciate it. But even if it's not for me, just make sure to use it, period, on your favorite broadcaster. It's free money. The best part beyond that is the fact that when you're watching a stream, you won't get commercials, but the broadcaster will still get money as if you watched the commercial. There's a lot of real good benefits to Twitch Prime, so check it out. That being said, though, we're going to go to a 2-minute break, and when we return, it's going to be Hero versus Stats. We'll see you soon.